Hello and welcome back to Exotic Beverage Reviews. This is episode 10, I think, and it's been a long time coming, so rumours of my death have been exaggerated. I've just been busy. Today's victim is 3 flavours of Red Bull, which Red Bull calls editions, but like a normal person, I'm going to call them flavours. Red Bull puts out 2 or 3 of these each year. I have a sampling of 3 of the current-ish options that are available. So, Red Bull, if you're not familiar with it, just work with me here and pretend that you've been living under a rock or something for the last few decades so we can get through this. But anyway, Red Bull is an Austrian energy drink manufacturer famous for making one of the most horribly offensive tasting carbonated drinks ever to be squirted into an aluminium can into the most successful energy drink of all time. I have not reviewed classic Red Bull on this channel, and I probably won't because everyone knows what the stuff tastes like and I really don't want to have to drink any of it. I find energy drinks fascinating because they're a paradox. The ingredients that make energy drinks into energy drinks, as a general rule, taste horrible. Caffeine is bitter, B vitamins taste like lawn clippings, and pretty much every other magical ingredient that goes into these drinks tastes somewhere on a spectrum between burnt plastic and biological waste. The challenge to the companies that make these drinks is to somehow mask all of that and cover up all of that horribleness with some kind of flavour that makes the drink taste decent and even develops a following of loyal customers. It's a big challenge and I find it genuinely intriguing. Classic Red Bull enters this challenge at the top rung because the key ingredient in Red Bull is taurine. If you're not familiar with taurine, it's an amino acid that's extracted from bile. Bile, if you're not familiar with it, is a fluid made by the liver that aids in digestion, and it's the key flavour, if you can call it that, in vomit. And that flavour is present in the amino acid that's sourced from it, which is taurine. So when I say that Red Bull is playing on legendary difficulty, it really is, because all of the flavourings and additional ingredients that go into Red Bull to make it taste palatable are literally fighting the flavour of vomit the entire time. More about taurine later, if you're morbidly curious. Now, having made all of those points, I'm 99% sure that these drinks, the flavoured edition versions, are not built on the same base product as standard garden variety Red Bull, and I base this assumption on the fact that they taste fundamentally different. They simply do not taste the same, and it's not just a matter of some fruity flavouring covering up the classic Red Bull taste. There's a lot more to it than that. But anyway, let's get to the drinks. I'm not going to criticise the name Red Bull. It's literally synonymous with energy drinks, and that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of these drinks being called editions, but whatever, it's harmless enough, I guess. There are 3 editions that I have today. There's Fig and Apple, Apricot and Strawberry, and Juneberry, whatever the heck that is. Red Bull's famous tagline is "Vitalizes body and mind," which I guess is a claim. The back of the can states that this stuff is appreciated worldwide by top athletes, students, busy professionals, and travellers on long journeys. All of which is probably correct, although I kind of doubt that top athletes legitimately drink Red Bull for its health benefits. The cans look okay. Look, each one has a specific pairing of colours that represent the flavour or the edition. And honestly, I don't like the colour groupings on 2 out of 3. The Jade edition with the jade green colour and the gold is fine, but the 2 summer edition cans with orange and red and blue and purple are a bit meh. I like that the can design has a lot of negative space on it. There's a pretty common tendency to go crazy with the graphic design on energy drink cans, but these ones are quite stylish. All 3 flavours have the same warning: not recommended for children, pregnant or lactating women, or caffeine sensitive persons. Daily dosage is 2 cans maximum. I will not be drinking all 3 of these today because I value my heart rate. All 3 cans contain the same basic stuff: carbonated water, sucrose, glucose, acidity regulators in the form of citric acid and sodium citrate, taurine because of course it does, unspecified flavours, caffeine, specified colours. In the orange can we have anthocyanins, which are naturally occurring red to purple colorants found in vegetables, and riboflavin, which is actually a B vitamin but can also be used to provide a yellow or orange color. The blue can contains anthocyanins as well, but paired with brilliant blue FCF, also known as FD&C Blue Number 1, which I've talked about extensively in this review of Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink, and it's something I highly recommend ingesting as little of as possible if you can help it. And the Jade edition contains caramel for colouring, along with beta-apo-8 carotenal, which is an orange colorant, and riboflavin again used for its orange colour, expecting this one to be quite orange. All three drinks also include a bunch of B vitamins, and the Jade and apricot versions include an antioxidant, but the Juneberry one doesn't. All three of these cans lump together whatever they taste like into the mystery ingredient of flavours, which is pretty frustrating. I'm going to go out on a limb and speculate that none of them contain any natural flavouring, because these types of drinks are usually pretty proud of including natural ingredients, and they like to make a big fuss about that on the label. So whatever makes these taste like apple, apricot or Juneberry is very likely to be very artificial. And what the heck is a Juneberry anyway? Apparently it's the fruit of a shrub in the rose family that's described as mildly sweet, which is incredibly not descriptive. Alright, we're doing the Red Bull editions, starting with the green one. We're going to go smelling first. Smells like apple, with a hint of something else, kind of woody, fruity. It smells pleasant. It's definitely got one of those sort of exotic fruit smells. Probably, I would say more like date than fig, but yeah. We've got Red Bull, apricot, and strawberry. Give it a go. Oh man, that's okay. It has a real dairy component to it. I can smell the apricot, I can smell the strawberry, but it really smells like something dairy. And Juneberry, it doesn't smell like a lot. Like it's got a fruity hint to it, but the rest of the like blank template Red Bull flavor is coming through. Like I said, these are not based on the standard Red Bull, so they don't have that real vomitous flavor that Red Bull's got, or that vomitous smell. They're clearly based on some other blank template that they add additional flavors to. This one smells a lot like the template, so the flavor in that one I suspect may not be very strong. Let's see what they look like. Again, starting with green. It looks a lot like standard Red Bull. Onto the apricot and strawberry. That's a color. That's a color. It's pink, pinkish. And finally, Juneberry. We know this one's got FD&C Blue Number 1 in it, so I'm expecting blue or purple. Yep, we'll class that as purple. All right, so yeah, that's more interesting visually than prior videos I've done with 3 drinks that all look the same. So, okay. Let's do the tasty. We'll start with fig and apple. It's good, it's fruity, definitely has an apple component. I mean, that's the cheap part of fig and apple, I guess. I can't say that I can really taste fig in there. It's got a real woody texture to the bottom of the flavor. Like it tastes like it's got something that's quite aged, like fig, date, that sort of flavor to it, but it's not specifically something that I would call fig. The apple part's really nice. Maybe the fig flavor is sort of enhancing the apple component. It's nice. On a whole, it's nice. That's like an 8 out of 10 flavor for an energy drink. Let's try the apricot and strawberry. It's so pink. Look at that. So pink. So I said that it smelt like dairy. It's not a bad flavor, but it tastes like yogurt. It's got a real component of strawberry yogurt or strawberry milk, but it's got that slightly turned flavor of yogurt. Again, not a bad thing. It's just, I'm using words to describe something because this is YouTube and you can't taste what I'm tasting. It's not a bad thing, but it definitely has that dairy quality to it. And we'll try Juneberry, which is very purple. Blue can, purple drink. Oh, that has a It has a slight aniseed quality to it. Possible aniseed might be one of the mystery flavours in that one. I have no idea what a Juneberry is supposed to taste like, so this is my first experience with a Juneberry. If that's what a Juneberry tastes like, then it's spot on. It's got a little bit of a sour zest to it. It also has a woody quality, but it's not as impactful as the apple and fig. It's not bad. I would rate the apple and fig highest, followed by the Juneberry, followed by the apricot and strawberry, primarily because the apricot and strawberry has that dairy thing going on that just doesn't sit right with me. It's not bad, I just don't care for it. I have no regrets with any of these. I would quite happily pick up any given one of these in a gas station to get me through the rest of my day. That's fine, they're all good. Fig and apple, probably the best. There are several more flavours of these editions that I will get to at some point in the future. I've got a lot of other drinks to get through before I get to those. So yeah, there you go. So we've already talked about the worst part of taurine, which is that it's extracted from bile, which is delightful. So I have some moderately good news for you. The taurine that goes into Red Bull and other energy drinks is usually synthetic. So it's not actually extracted from real bile. It's extracted from fake bile. It's still an artificial amino acid synthesized to replicate a key ingredient of bile, so I'm still fairly grossed out by it, but taurine is generally considered to be a safe ingredient in energy drinks, although most sources state that the problem with energy drinks isn't any one given ingredient, it's the entire cocktail of questionable chemicals that get put together and sold as, more often than not, something that alleges to be healthy for you. I have read articles that have suggested that taurine speeds up the process of absorbing caffeine and sugar into the bloodstream because, wait for this, its role in bile production fools your body into thinking that the ingredients are already partly digested. Personally, I think this is rubbish. Taurine has a lot more roles in your body, mostly around energy production and transfer of chemicals from one place to another. Confusing your stomach is not its job. One more quirk for the entire Red Bull energy drink range is that Red Bull beverages are pasteurized. Pasteurisation is a process invented by Louis Pasteur in the 1860s to stop people getting sick from drinking fresh-ish cow milk because of all the bacteria that love to grow in it before we invented refrigeration, before we came up with the idea of germ theory, and before stupid olden day humans developed the concept of not eating and drinking things when they'd gone bad. So to pasteurize milk, you apply heat to it for a specific amount of time and bam, longer shelf life, less bacteria, much healthier milk drinkers. So why is Red Bull pasteurized? I don't know. And honestly, no one seems to know. This is one of those weird questions where you really expect the internet will have a #1 search result that tells you exactly what you need to know, but no. I have no satisfying answers whatsoever. So processes exist for pasteurizing carbonated beverages, and I assume the reason for that is to be extra safe, that there are no dangerous contaminants and stuff in the drinks. I don't know. All I can tell you is that there are a lot of energy drinks that are not pasteurized, and this just makes me feel like if Red Bull was not heat treated, it would be some kind of petri dish of who knows what. So those were 3 flavors of Red Bull Edition: Jade, Summer, and also Summer. If you found this video in any way entertaining, please consider sneaking up on the subscribe button and pushing it really hard when it least expects it. Please stay tuned for next time when I hope whatever I'm drinking is still within its use-by date.